Hello viewers and welcome back to the video series on Advanced Database Management System. In this video session, we are going to start discussing on transaction and concurrency control. So let's start. Let us first have a look at the contents of this particular session and the session I will be continuing with this particular topic. In this particular topic, we are going to discuss on these various subtopics such as concept of transaction, ACID properties, states of the transaction, then various problems with respect to concurrency control and the schemes of concurrency control, scheduling of transactions, serializability concept, forms of serializability, and finally the protocols or the log-based protocol in order to control the concurrency, and finally the deadlock handling. So these are the contents of this 2 to 3 video sessions I will be continuing further. So let's first start with the concept of transaction. What do you mean by transaction? A transaction is a unit of program execution that accesses and possibly updates the various data items in any process or in any database system. So it is nothing but a unit of program execution. Basically, the operations which are going to be happening with respect to any transaction, those we are going to talk very soon. When the transaction is committed, the database must be consistent. It means whenever a transaction is getting initiated and it is committed, it is successfully completed, then it should take the database into consistent state. Now, as we will go further, we will understand that how a transaction is committed and when it is committed, how it is assuring or ensuring the consistency in the database. There are two main issues to deal with when we are studying this particular transaction concept. First, failures of various kinds, such as there can be hardware failures or system crashes while the transaction is going on or in execution state, or concurrent execution of multiple transactions. So this whole series or these different video sessions which we are going to talk on this particular concept are going to address these two main issues. As I mentioned, the basic two operations which we are going to focus on with respect to access to the database are read and write. So read X is nothing but an operation which transfers the data item X from database to local buffer belonging to the transaction that executed the read operation. And write X, it transfers the data item X from local buffer of the transaction that executed this write operation back to the database. So essentially, the transfer of the data item is very important to be understood when we learn the read and the write operation. Okay. Now, let us try to ponder upon the ACID properties of a transaction. So basically, ACID stands for atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. To preserve integrity of data, the database system must ensure these four properties. Now let us try to discuss every property in brief. First of all, let us try to understand what you mean by atomicity. Atomicity is nothing but it states that either all the operations of the transaction are properly reflected in the database or none. It means if a transaction is getting executed and all the operations in line with that particular transaction, those should be properly executed once the transaction is committed. But if anything happens in between, if any kind of failure occurs in between, then the transaction should be rolled back to its initial state. Okay, so that is the meaning of atomicity property. Let's discuss another property in ACID, that's consistency. Consistency says execution of a transaction in isolation preserves the consistency of the database. Now, whatever result is expected as per the constraint which is imposed in that particular system at the beginning, the execution of the transaction should fulfill that particular constraint. Okay, and that is going to assure the consistency of the database. With some examples, we will try to understand what is it. Let us go to the next property of ACID, that is isolation. Isolation means although there are multiple transactions executing concurrently, each transaction must be unaware of other concurrently executing transaction. Means every transaction in a multiple execution environment or concurrent execution environment, every transaction must feel that it is accessing the resource required to execute its operations solely. It should not get interrupted or disturbed by any other transaction which is executed in the same time concurrently. So that is the meaning of the isolation. Intermediate transaction results must be hidden from other concurrently executed transactions. So let us put it in some other words. That is, for every pair of transactions Ti and Tj, it appears to Ti that either Tj finished execution before Ti started or Tj started execution after Ti finished. It means both Ti and Tj, they are feeling that they are not getting disturbed by any other transaction and they are smoothly continuing its execution and completing it successfully. Okay, so that is the assurance which we get through this isolation property of ACID. And the last property in ACID is durability. Now, what do you mean by durability? After a transaction completes successfully, the changes it has made to the database must persist, even if there are system failures. Okay, so that is the simple definition of durability. So these are the four properties of ACID, and the takeaway of these ACID properties are to preserve the integrity of the database. Now let us try to again understand these properties with some example. So first we will see the example of atomicity. Then in line with that, we will see the example of isolation and consistency also. So let us take into consideration the typical example of a fund transfer. So here you can see that there is a transaction which is initiating transfer of $50 from account A to account B. So these are some operations which are getting executed in this particular transaction. Read A is equal to A minus 50, write A, read B is equal to B plus 50 and write B. Now what is the consistency requirement? At the beginning only we have to analyze this requirement, and then after the result we need to cross check the result whether it is fulfilling this requirement or not. So the requirement here is sum of A and B is unchanged by the execution of the transaction. Okay, so initially, if we are assuming that the balance of account A is 100 and account B is also 100, then if initially the sum is 300, then after this transfer is happening, at the end of this transfer, again the sum should be preserved. Okay, so it means if A is 100 and B is 100 at the beginning, and if $50 are transferred from account A to account B, obviously A will be, or balance of A will be deducted by 50. So it will be 50, and the balance of B will be added with 50. So it will be 250. And ultimately the sum that was at the beginning, it was 300, and at the end also it will be 300. Okay, so that is the thing which we need to check in order to see whether it is preserving the atomicity requirement or not. But if the transaction fails after step 3, okay, so typically we are focusing on this write A operation here. If the transaction fails, then what should happen? The system should ensure that its updates are not reflected in the database, else an inconsistency will result. It means if the transaction fails at this step number 3, what should happen? As per the atomicity property, this transaction should roll back, and again it should start from the beginning stage. Okay, so that is the assurance in order to see whether the atomicity is preserved. Now, as I said, let us put it in some in these particular words. Atomicity can be ensured as follows. The database system keeps track of old values of any data on which a transaction performs a write operation. If the transaction does not complete its execution, the old values are restored to make it appear as though the transaction never executed. It means it has to roll back if at all anything happens in between the transaction is executing. In DBMS, the atomicity is handled by a very special program or a component which is called as transaction management component. Okay, so it is very important to be remembered. Now let's see the same problem in order to understand the durability. Durability requirement says once the user has been notified that the transaction has completed, means the transfer of $50 has been taken place, the updates to the database by the transaction must persist despite the failure. Now we can guarantee the durability by ensuring number 1, updations carried out by the transaction return to disk before the transaction completes. Means what? Whatever secondary storage you have taken into consideration in order to preserve the data or the value of that particular transaction after its execution, then the updation must be carried out by the transaction and they should be returned to disk. Information about the updates carried out by the transaction and returned to disk is sufficient to enable the database to reconstruct the updates. Now, what is the meaning of this particular line? Why it is important to preserve the durability, or why it is important in order to preserve the durability, the updation should be written to the disk, because information about the updates carried out by the transaction and written to disk will be sufficient enough to enable the database to reconstruct the updates. And that is why it is important to preserve the durability. The transaction has to write the updation into the disk. Of course, in order to handle the durability, the recovery management component is used in database management system. Let's move further. Now, how the isolation is assured? Isolation requirement if in between step 6 and step 3 and step number 6, another transaction is allowed to access the partially updated database. It will see an inconsistent database here, because when we talk about isolation, we have to assume that there are many concurrently, or rather I can say that there are many transactions which are getting executed concurrently. But if at all, between the step 3 and step 6, you can see from here, write A and write B. Okay, in between this, if another transaction is allowed to access the database, of course, what it will read, the value which will be read by this particular intermediate transaction, it will be the partial value, because before write B, it is trying to read the value of read B. Okay, so here the sum A plus B will be less than it should be, because it is happening before step 6. This can be ensured trivially by running the transactions serially, that is, one after the another. Means this second transaction or the intermediate transaction which is trying to read this value in between step 3 and step 6 will not be allowed to read so. Rather, this first transaction will be executed in a serial manner. It will finish all its operations and commit, and final, then only the second transaction will start. With which what will happen? No partial value will be read by any intermediate transaction. Okay, so executing the transaction in serial manner will end up in ensuring the isolation. So in DBMS, this is handled by concurrency control component. Let's move further. So here, up to this, we discussed about the basic concept of transaction and the basic properties which are important to be studied in order to preserve the integrity of the database, and those are ACID. We saw the brief discussion or a brief explanation on every property with examples. So up to this, I hope you must have understood. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for my next video.